maybe you should. No, I've got to get pizzas to that observatory over there. And so you get attacked by some like smoke monster, and you like the pizzas fall off, and you're like scrambling around, like, oh no, somebody needs the pepperoni.
So I'm swimming through 30 weight motor oil.
Why are these new additions to your game that your intention was to release this fall? What are you doing?
Their primary focus should be surviving litigation.
Someone take his phone. I'll do it. Just give me a key card and a red button that turns off Randy's Wi-Fi.
It pisses me off that they lump racing in with sports. Then you look at this insert F-bomb, Mario Kart and Sonic Racing lumped in with F125.
An aimless rant. We were just angry.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
What's up, everybody? We are live. It is episode 58 of the Hardcore Casual Broadcast. He is Jay of F1 Podcast fame and an upcoming new season. And I am Mason of Internet Infamy, and we are the conversation at the table behind you. And do you want to do that at the TV side of things, or do you want to go ahead and get that out right now for your for the whole?
No, man,
F1
we can do it later when we can get it out when we do
the typical media stuff.
Normal. Yeah.
Well, it was skin of our teeth again today, but we are doing it. I was swamped today. Jay was inundated, but we are here, and also my cough is back. So it's raining here, and
yay!
Yeah, my cough is back. So cough button close at hand. But yeah, anything to add before we dive right into it?
I had one of those rolling nat ones days today. So I don't get out of work till like 5:30. Then I go to pick up my son at his mom's, but I had to turn my car into the shop today, so I didn't have my keys to lock up the building, so I had to wait on a guy, and he got there, and then I get out there to get my son, and we're on the way back, and then I wanted to stop and grab him something to eat, and I was like, dude, I've got to use the restroom really bad. So I go into a gas station of a restroom that never has anybody in it. And I walk in, and there's a guy in the shitter, and then there's a guy using the urinal, and then there's another guy in line. And I'm like, what are the odds?
The gods have conspired against you.
Then I'm behind a train, and I sent you the picture. I'm like, this is my luck today. So, but I'm here. I rolled in at 6:54. And I've got plenty of material. I know you do too, man. I'm really looking forward to. And also we got to mention, dude, our buddies, both of our best buddies' birthdays is today.
Oh, that's right. Yes, happy
so
birthday,
shout
Rob.
out to Captain Redbeard, who's now 64. And since he's not watching or on the show, I can say whatever age I want.
We'll get him on here someday.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break him down.
Yeah, but he's actually he's only 29. So you guys do the math. It's about halfway
and
in
still
between
gorgeous.
Yeah. So anyway, big shout out to him. Happy birthday, man.
Well, I will not bury the lead. We will lead with the big story in the title. And I also, before we get
title,
there is a title. And I want to say that there's also another story here. And you and I kind of quickly talked about this. So this is a segment that we had been teasing for a while, because we're just going to call this news that you already thought was news, because they've all been so heavily reported already. So, number one is, for the first time, officially, Ubisoft has confirmed the existence of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Yes, Jay.
Which is funny, because when I brought up the business meeting where they said it had been delayed, you even asked me, you're like, is this real? And I'm like, they kind of got forced into admitting it's real.
Apparently, they didn't explicitly say Assassin's Creed Black Flag. They said an unreleased Assassin's Creed project.
Yeah.
Or unannounced. So Ubisoft has officially announced Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. And they didn't do so with a big trailer drop. They didn't do so by announcing it on a game show or some dev diary or anything like that. They did so with this. They did so with an image. And I'll move us over to the side there so you can see.
Which I got to tell you, I would hang up in my living room if I had like a gigantic lithograph of that.
I'm sure Displate could hook you up. Hey, Displate, get at us, man. We can do some business together.
That's a great shot, dude.
But but yeah, so
Hopefully
they
he's
gave
not
us,
on a hopefully he's not on a dinghy boat like Jack Sparrow was at the beginning of Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah, so we got this shot, and we have in the corner the official unveiling of the title, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. So again, we would call this news that you already thought was news because this has been rumored for years at this point. I mean, to the point that we had forgotten, like whenever we did our predictions for the Game Awards, I had forgotten to put, which obviously we didn't get it anyway, but I had forgotten to put, we'll get the announcement of Assassin's Creed Black Flag because I had forgotten that it still hadn't been officially announced. But it's here. It was in a blog post, and along with the image, they also included the line, "Speculation around Assassin's Creed is not new, but it's worth repeating. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted."
It's permitted.
Well, except in this case, some whispers have a little more wind in their sails. Keep your spyglass on the horizon. And that is all the detail we have on AC Black Flag Resynced. But one thing that we do know as a result of the call that they had that you alluded to before is that it's been delayed. It was originally supposed to release within this fiscal quarter, which would be by March 31st of this year.
Which I had originally heard that it was a leak by, I think, Shinobi. But yeah, I had originally heard it was going to be released like in the middle of March.
And
But
then
obviously-
in January, we got the whole reshuffling of Ubisoft where they basically split into separate divisions, and they have like one studio for shooters and one studio's for action adventure, and you know this whole thing that they're doing. And they shuffled the Assassin's Creed team so that now they have a guy that's overseeing the entirety of Assassin's Creed, like James Gunn over the DC universe or something like that. But it's gotten delayed. So it was going to be by March 31st of this year, and it got delayed and all of that reshuffling. So the only thing that we know is right now, it's supposed to be released within March or the fiscal year of 2026, which would end on March 31st of 2027. So we basically have more than a year of time that it could release in. Obviously, I'm sure we'll hear something before then, but that's what we have right now. The big questions that I wanted to get your thoughts on, Jay, was, well, now it's announced, but we've talked about rumors, and we'll go over some of those rumors again today. But is this good news? Especially given the delay and some of the rumors. Are we excited about this? Are we trepidatious about this? How are you feeling?
Well, Bob, I would like to say that I'm actually really excited about it, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I know we've been dragging Ubisoft through the mud on things, and we've been praising them on other things, as we've mentioned before. Div 2 still going strong. Huge announcements of Div 2 around the anniversary of the game or of the franchise. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that they're going to give us what we want. And I think this is going to be a solid title. I think they know this is a back-breaking title if they don't get it right. This will be, I mean, I'm not saying it'll spell the end of the Assassin's Creed franchise, but if they screw this up, dude,
again,
it'll be years in the tank before they're able to regain some trust.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the rumors. Let's recap some of the rumors surrounding Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And these rumors have been around for months now, and nothing has come out to counter them. So far, they seem to be pretty legit. So those rumors, starting off, we'll start off with the one that we like, or at least here at Hardcore Casual. We know a lot of the viewers do not share this opinion, but that is that they will be removing the modern day aspect from the game and having it be exclusively in, you'll only be Edward Kenway. And not only that, but they supposedly, rumored, are going to be adding additional missions to round out that story to make up for the fact that they will not be including a modern day aspect. I am stoked about that. And it's something that even before that rumor came out that you and I had been campaigning for a long, long time.
And I am also stoked about that, unless they're ready to venture into the what you talked about, which is giving us our same skill set, same weapons, and everything in the modern time when we do exit the Animus, and that we have missions geared in the modern era that align with the mechanics that we have when we're in our ancestors' era.
Well, and I definitely want to get into that
Which
here in
that would be
a
cool.
minute. Because I basically I see one of two ways that this can go and can inform the future of Ubisoft, and it's just going to be one of those things that we'll have to see what decisions they make and how that applies. But before we get there, I also want to mention the other big rumor. It's funny that you should mention skills and that kind of thing, and that is the RPGification of Assassin's Creed. As we know from Origins, and just kind of been increasingly in different bits and pieces.
RPGification.
Yeah.
You went full W right there.
So from Origin, we have gotten increasingly more RPG aspects to Assassin's Creed. Now, granted, I think that it was best implemented in Origin. I thought that was a pretty good one. I didn't like the fact that we didn't have... I didn't like the new fighting. I didn't like the new combat system. But it wasn't as brutal as it is now, where, you know, like we've talked about before, you have to get the same hood or boots or whatever 8 times, 9 times, or you have to upgrade it or whatever, just because they have a leveling system. And like, oh, okay, well, I've got level 12 everything else, but my boots are still level 8, and I've got them that way because, you know, they match my outfit, but I've either got to wear these level 12 boots that don't match anything, or I've got to, you know, buy another thing. So it's I hate it. It makes no sense.
Or you had to go on 412, because I counted it, 412 bear hunts to get enough soft leather to get that maxed out armor, whatever maxed out armor you wanted, because the bear gave up the most soft leather. You basically had to do more hunting than you would in a hunting game to get enough components.
So if that is true, I hate that. I hate it so much. I hate it so hard. Like, that's awful. And I know that there had been increasing pushback for more like the modern releases, the more recent releases, and it would got a little bit more, and then Assassin's Creed Shadows happened, and that's when the pushback on the leveling system reached a fever pitch, to the degree that, one, they've already announced that the second planned DLC of Assassin's Creed Shadows is canceled. It's not happening. And there was a rumor. There was a rumor that came out that also said that, along with the RPGification of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, that because of the bitter feedback from Shadows, that they were trying to take some of those elements out, or at least ease them in Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Now, like I said, it got delayed. It got pushed back. So they now have, technically, they have until March 31st, 2027 to release this game and still hit the mark that they said of fiscal year 2026. I don't think that's enough time to rip all of that out, but I mean, it could be spent to get it there, because let's be real, if this thing was going to release in mid-March of this year originally, if they were on track for that, whenever this whole restructuring happened in January, the game's already done. Like, they would have already been done if it was going to release mid-March. So there's really no big reason for them to delay it that far, unless they were trying to milk that time to get some more stuff in there. So I don't know. What do you think that they will try to lessen it? Do you think they'll get it removed completely? Do you think they're even going to try to bother removing it, or is that just some rumor?
First off,
never got around really playing Black Flag, so this could be cool.
Well, that's good. I know he mentioned wanting to download it one time, but he was playing Odyssey at the time, I think. But so yeah, I'm actually excited that the delay might be because they're listening to fans and actually taking feedback and going, you know what, we're going to listen to you. We're going to have to delay it, but we're going to rip this stuff out and give you what you want. like I said before, I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they are going to listen this time.
So that's where I wanted to bring that part in. So this is the thing where we'll see what they do with this, and what they decide to do with this. I can see really taking the franchise in two different directions. Either we see them take criticism and feedback, and they deliver something that we have been begging for over a decade now, literally years, and they give us an incredible experience, and then we can say, okay, maybe with this and the things that they've established here, the lessons they learned, and the fact that they are now listening to the criticism and the feedback, moving forward into Assassin's Creed, because we know that they've already canceled other Assassin's Creed games. Maybe moving forward, they can kind of have like a new golden age of Assassin's Creed. Maybe they could reboot it. Maybe they could do something else. Who knows? The other option is that they release it and it's got the RPG elements. They put in all this gotcha stuff. They have pay to win mechanics, pay to level up, all of that stuff. And then we get yet another example of them taking overwhelming feedback and learning the wrong lesson. They always learn the wrong lesson. And again, this would be twice that they would have screwed up direct feedback on this game. I see that being the only two ways this can go.
Yeah, and the sad thing is you and I aren't the be-all, end-all of what should be or not be in a game.
Speak for yourself.
And there's probably some people out there that, I'm sure my son would agree more with you than me. Speaking that he just said that on the way home, that he's right more often than not. But what I would like to say is that there are probably people out there that like the RPG elements.
There are. I have talked to them in the comments. They exist.
And I love RPGs. I don't think Assassin's Creed should be one of them. You know, I can love like I love games that are RPGs. I mean, my record's pretty clear on that. But again, I don't think Assassin's Creed is one of them. I think it's a third person over the shoulder action game. It's an action adventure. Title. Yeah. Let us get our armor. When we get the armor we like, that should be it. That should be the end of it.
And it wouldn't be as bad if that was how it started. If it started off as an RPG, that's how we learned it. That's how we got acclimated to it. But it didn't start off that way. It started out as a straight up action adventure. It started out with the completely different fighting system. That's what we knew. That's what we loved. I mean, and that's what we like, the whole Altair, the Ezio collection, Black Flag, all of the best entries were in that era.
Syndicate.
Yes. Oh God, Syndicate. Yes, so good. Like all of the best entries were in that era.
We always forget it, and it never gets enough credit. Syndicate never gets enough credit. And for the record, I feel like even as much as I love Black Flag, Syndicate had the best DLC of any of the titles because of what it did. It had the steampunk DLC. It had Jack the Ripper. It had some really outstanding DLCs.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So yeah, what do you think? If it comes out and it's great, if it comes out, they nailed it, they listened, they stripped out the RPG elements that they wanted to add in, and they take it maybe not all the way back to its roots. I don't know if they can do that given all the rumored stuff that they've done it, but if they bring it more back to the roots, they axe the modern day era stuff where you're just walking around literally an office, and they get rid of all that and they release that. What do you think that does for the franchise as a whole and Ubisoft as a company going forward?
Well, I don't think it's just a step forward. I think it's a leap. The sad thing is I'm going to play it regardless.
Oh yeah. Going to give it a shot.
I love Black Flag.
I've got to know.
I mean, it was peak Assassin's Creed without actually technically being an Assassin's Creed game. And
yeah, because you were not an assassin. I think it's probably the only game. Well, no, it's not the only game because there was another game, but you were a Templar, so it's kind of the same thing. You were an untrained killer in Black Flag.
I got an argument with another guy at work going, the funny thing was you had the weapons of Assassin's Creed, but unless you went to that birdcage and grabbed a freaking contract, it really wasn't an Assassin's Creed game. For me, it was a pirate game. I was on the water probably 80% of the time. I'd go to land to get supplies and get just like a real pirate would to get the boat rearmed and refit. And occasionally I'd venture off and go, you know what? Let's get in a couple sword fights just for shits and
Oh,
giggles.
that's the thing. I loved getting into sword fights in that game. I
Yeah.
hate getting into sword fights in the modern day, the current, the more recent entries of Assassin's Creed because of the different combat system.
And I'm going to disagree with you and agree with you at the same time. So I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey was some peak combat because they had the L1, R1 break the guard move. And because it was Greece, I mained a spear and a shield, which I didn't in any other title. In no other title was I a spear and shield guy. And because it felt right. You were a Spartan. I'm rolling with my spear and I'm rolling with my shield. And in Origins, you know, I was kind of a bow and I liked using the Kopesh because that was the Egyptian weapon of the time. And in what was the one with Valhalla? I was more of an axe and hammer guy, you know. But again, all three of those had different combat systems to your point, which was another problem, the constantly changing control scheme in Assassin's Creed games.
But the paired animation system that they started off with, that was perfect for Black Flag because the whole thing was this intertwining of the blades as you're doing the sword fighting, and you could have these very intricate animations going on, which you can't have in the new combat system. Like you said, you would deflect or something like that, but you didn't have the paired animation system where both character models worked in tandem to create this thing that just made you feel like a superhero, made it look like the Three Musketeers movie or something like that.
Well, I was getting ready to say, tell me you weren't humming the Pirates of the Caribbean theme music when you were sword fighting in Black Flag. I mean, it was like,
perfect.
You know, and you were doing it and you didn't even realize you were doing it. And that's a really good point, Alex. Yeah, the
modern combat is just so sluggish, in my opinion, as well, and heavy.
Yeah, it absolutely is, especially in Valhalla. And it's shitty thing for me as a history guy is that I love the setting in Valhalla. Dark Ages Europe is like one of my dogs. But in fact, most of the Assassin's Creed settings prior to Shadows are some of my favorite historical. And Shadows would have been if they would have went with actual people from that era of Shadows. But still, he's right. The combat was way slower than it was in like even OG Assassin's Creed was smoother, and that's really sad that that's the case.
And on the other side of things, if they release it and it is everything we've heard about and everything that we feared, what does that mean for them to have screwed it up twice going forward? What does that mean for the Assassin's Creed as a franchise with the Ubisoft insanity going on and the not listening to feedback for a second time in a row? What does that mean for the franchise?
Well, I think what it means is A, that we're all out $70 for one, and B, we're still going to play it to completion because we spent $70.
If it's bad, I'm not going to play it to
you're
completion.
Different. Agreed. You're very much the exception to the rule. I will finish it regardless.
No, I believe you are the exception to the rule, sir. I think all of the stats would confirm that there are so many people that will start a game and never finish it. Granted, I'm a completionist if I enjoy the game, but if I don't enjoy the game, I'm not going to play it just because I spent money on it. Same with a book. Some people will say, like, "Oh, I started the book. I got to finish the book." That ain't me. I will put book down.
Did you finish Mass Effect Andromeda? And before you answer that, realize that depending on your answer, you could be going straight to hell for that.
I actually did not finish Mass Effect.
Okay,
Andromeda.
You're good. You can still go to still go to the good place.
I was playing through and I was taking my time and I was like, okay, we're just treading water. And then by the time, I was still going through the story and taking my time. And then it came out that they're like, oh yeah, by the way, all that DLC that we promised, it's not happening. And I was like,
yeah.
And it was supposed to complete the story. And I was like, well, then I'm not going to finish it then.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm out. All right, man.
So, anyway, but yeah, basically, just to wrap that up, I don't know. We'll see. We don't know when it's going to release, but I think this is going to be kind of an arbiter of which direction the wind is blowing with this shakeup, whether they're going to start actually listening to feedback or if they're just going to try to maintain the same course that they've been on and just try to, they did the shakeup and the layoffs and all this stuff, and maybe that could all just be for show and money, but are they just going to keep going on the same thing? And also, I did want to just bring up, because they did announce just a little thing, a side thing. They also announced that there would be a 60 FPS patch for Unity, of all games, to get it at 60 frames per second. And the next entry in the Assassin's Creed franchise, or what is believed to be the next entry in the franchise, aside from Black Flag Resynced, is Hex. Assassin's Creed Hex. That one's still going. Do you have any more developed thought? Because that one's coming up. That one's resurfacing. There's not really much new information in regard to it, but it's just resurfacing because of this story. And this is one that it sounds like a cool concept. It just doesn't sound like an Assassin's Creed game, because this is the one where basically the main character, the assassin, is essentially going to be Batman, where they will use fear to play with their enemies and freak them out and do all that, which is like the whole thing about an assassin is they're not supposed to know you're there. So I don't know. It feels like a bit of a divergence from the franchise.
Yeah, and admittedly, of course, I only have so much bandwidth lately, but I haven't read up a lot on Hex. I kind of, and as with most Assassin's Creed games, I kind of just let him hit me in the face and go, okay, I'll play that. That's an era of history that I'm interested in. I'll try that. For me, that's actually the linchpin, is what era of history it's from.
It's the Salem witch trials is where Hex is going to be on.
Okay, well, that's interesting to me, dude.
It is interesting.
I don't know how they're going to implement that, and is that going to be an all-female ran protagonist?
Yes, the assassin character is rumored to be a female.
No chance of switching.
Not right now. They didn't say. So far, it sounds like there's just a female lead, and you will use fear against the enemy. And that's why it sounds like a cool game. It just doesn't sound like an Assassin's Creed game, because of the whole thing about where you are very much letting your enemies know that you're there, and just trying to scare them and making think. I don't know. It just seems. We'll see. But we will keep you guys updated and informed as we learn more about Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and we will obviously give our opinions on what we think once we find out whether it launches and flies or falls on its face. The second piece of news that you already thought was news is Highguard is done. Servers are shutting down. Highguard is finished. And most people already thought it was finished, but it wasn't. They just laid off most of their staff. Now it's finished.
Yeah, and it's weird. I'll be honest with you, I don't feel like dedicating a lot of time to this simply because we knew it was coming. You know what I'm saying? I hate it for Geoff Keighley that he's going to have to ride the memes out for another year, and that whatever they decide is the one more thing on next year's Game Awards, they better make sure they got their shit wired tight. Well, that's all I'm saying.
Well, that's one thing I want to talk about. That first, I want to go over some stats here. So, just to give you an idea of how Highguard went. So, obviously, we know Highguard was the one more thing at the Game Awards, and it was so there's no bigger launch pad that you can get as a video game than the one more thing at the Game Awards, at the Keighley's. That is the prime spot. That's Super Bowl halftime level exposure in the gaming world. It doesn't get any bigger. It doesn't get any better. So that came out. Now the trailer could be perceived either way. I remember we watched it and we were like, okay, we'll see. But and we didn't, to the point that we didn't believe. We did a live stream of the Game Awards, and we didn't think that was the one last thing or the one more thing. We thought surely there was something else, but there wasn't. So on launch day, the Steam player count peaked at 97,249. Ghost GM says, honestly, thought the premise wasn't terrible, but it just didn't deliver and felt rushed. But yeah, the launch day peak on Steam was 97,249. This briefly put it in the top 10 most played Steam games at launch. That was day one. Kudos, great job, boys. You did good, right? Then day two came. Day two, 24 hours after the release, the player count dropped from 97K to 19,000 players. This is a drop of about 80% within 24 hours. Within 4 days, that dropped below 4,000 players.
Yeah.
To the point now,
And
like after
those
this,
are
it's in
concurrent.
the hundreds. Huh?
Those are concurrent playing.
Concurrent players.
Not okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's still a death knell.
And coming down to now where it's, in the 100. Of course, I don't even know what it is right now, given that they know it's going to die. But yeah, it came down to the hundreds. But so that was from so it lost 50 to 70% of players after launch week, and stabilized at about 10 to 30% of its peak before then going off the cliff. So basically, it lost 80% of its player base in 24 days. It lost 80% of its player base in 24 hours, lost 96% of its player base in 4 days, and lost 98% of its player base within weeks of release. I have not seen something start off so well and end so poorly, so quickly, since the last time I had a Big Mac. And this was awful. And this is what we get.
It's down in the double. I'm on Steam right now. It's actually just in double digits.
Oof.
With currently mixed reviews, mostly down. Yeah, man, it's not. I mean, I'm gonna have to get off of this page because it's gonna mess my algorithm up.
So basically, because it looked different, it was different character models. You were a machine gun toting knight riding a polar bear. That's certainly different, but it was still a hero shooter. It was the same thing that we've seen done better on Rivals and things like that. So it just didn't offer anything new and different. So you've got to, again, like we've said before, if you're chasing a trend, you better make sure that you bring something new to that trend. Now, what you were talking about before, what does this mean for Geoff Keighley? Obviously, Geoff is going to have a black eye over this.
Yeah.
It looks bad on his credibility because they didn't buy. I would have rather they bought that spot at the Game Awards. I would have rather they paid money and bought their way into the primo positioning. But they didn't do that. And this makes it worse. How they got in there was Geoff played the game and told them, hey guys, I love this game and I've got a crazy idea. And that's how they got their position at the Game Awards. Geoff genuinely liked it so much that he thought it should be the one more thing, and obviously it's now become the one last thing. So his credibility and the credibility of the Game Awards, not as a whole, obviously the Game Awards are voted on, things like that, but as far as their ability to position bangers as the one more thing, that is in serious doubt. So what do you think as far as going forward? How long does Geoff bear the scarlet letter? And like what happens if he falls on his face again at Game Awards 2026?
I was going to say he's going to bear the scarlet letter until he... And it's sad because it's not even him that needs to redeem himself. It's whatever the game he announces as the one more thing. So they need to pick a... They need to pick a banger. They need to go with something they know is not going to fail. And I know how much he loves Kojima. Maybe save whatever Kojima's got going on as his one more thing. But if not, he's going to have to latch on to something that maybe he doesn't want to, but maybe he knows is a tried and true, right? So if Elder Scrolls 6 is announced, And here's the thing about Todd Howard, though. He's going to want main stage peak time. So any big AAA title is going to want main time, display. They're not going to want the one more thing.
I would be holding the stereo over my head outside of Casey Hudson's window, and I would want my one more thing of Game Awards 2026 to be, I don't care if it's pre-alpha gameplay of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic follow-up.
Yeah, and I agree. Because I don't even think we'll be close to that release either by the next Game Awards.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care if it's pre-alpha. Just render me 30 seconds of gameplay. That's all I need. Just give me something, Casey.
Show me a Jedi walking into a room and facing off against a big bad Sith Lord.
Yeah, give me in-game footage of a Jedi pulling out a lightsaber in a cantina. That's all I need.
Keep it short. Give enough to give every gamer a rock hard rager, and then move on to the credits. Right?
Yes.
So that's the best thing you can do.
So there you go. Highguard is now a cautionary tale. So from one more thing to one last thing. So pour one out for Highguard. Unfortunately, though, it will not be missed.
This is for the homies.
But that's the gaming news that I wanted to bring. What do you got, Jay?
I've got a couple of them. One's real quick. Ghost of Yote is not coming to PC.
Oh,
There's a new Sony strategy where they have decided that any single player driven game that is an exclusive to PlayStation will never come to PC as of right now. Only multiplayer exclusives, only games that have a multiplayer client in them will come to PC as well. So sucks for PC players that don't have PlayStations, but
I think that we can thank Xbox for that, because
probably
with Xbox, all this stuff going on with Xbox,
I
think PlayStation's like, oh, we don't need to compete anymore.
Like, no, we don't.
They just handed them a win.
And I'd bet money, because they were so late getting Ghost of Tsushima to the PC, that I bet the sales were so negligible considering the development time to get it done, that they probably went upside down on it. If I had to guess, and they just said, you know what, screw it, we just won't do single player titles anymore, which is fine. But that's like, go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say it's a smart play. It's because the only reason they went to PC before. What's Ghost GM say? Ghost GM says, well, that complicates
shit.
Because the Legends multiplayer is confirmed.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, but they can do that as a separate client, like they did Ghost of Tsushima's client, because you can download Legends separate from the single player.
It was like
game,
it was tied to it, but a separate release. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that they were putting their stuff on PC because of Xbox's strategy of getting across there. So they slowly came around to that idea, and now that Xbox is just on fire and not in a positive way, I think they were just like, all right, well, then we don't need to do that anymore. Which is funny, because in the comments of our Xbox video for our Xbox take, we were called Xbox shills, which is pretty funny, because I don't know if you could find a more
exactly
negative,
the opposite.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you could find a more negative take on the internet than the one that we had on the current Xbox situation.
I mean, it would have been more realistic to call us PS homers than Xbox shills. That makes no sense, but whatever, man.
Yeah, we were paid.
People are entitled to their opinions.
Yeah, but anyways, I thought that was funny. Yeah, so I think Xbox and all of that insanity, I think that is why PlayStation just doesn't feel any pressure anymore, and they're like, okay, cool, we'll keep this, because let's be real, that's PlayStation's bread and butter right now. Is their internal studios single player games. That's the prestige titles. That's where you get God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, all of these things, like that is their prestige title. That's the reason you get a PlayStation.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, they end up with exclusives that are made by other companies a lot too, because for the longest time, Resident Evil was a PlayStation only title.
Spider-Man. Well, I guess that actually I think they did buy Insomniac now, but they didn't used to own Insomniac.
Correct.
And they were still getting exclusives from Insomniac.
But anyway, man, the other one is also to me, it's a small news story. Last week, I made what you ended up calling a hot take, which was me saying that Crimson Desert will be Game of the Year if it has a smooth launch. I have to keep reiterating that because I think you'll forget that part where I said that.
Well, you said it on the air. You didn't say that whenever we were talking before the show.
Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it.
No, you said it on the show. You didn't say it before the show.
Correct. Right, but I said it where it counted on the show. But so I do want to say that the console players apparently are up in arms and refusing to pre-order this game until Pearl Abyss, the developer, shows gameplay footage of the PlayStation version. And I'm not of the PS5 version, and I'm not. They have shown PS5 gameplay, so now they brought out so much stink about Cyberpunk. The players brought out so much stink about the Cyberpunk launch that it forced CD Projekt Red to release another apology 5 years removed
after they've long since redeemed themselves.
Yes, they literally this week on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, they released another statement saying, again, we are sorry we did not show enough footage of the PS4 and the Xbox One gameplay of Cyberpunk prior to the release of Cyberpunk 2077.
Project, you don't need to do that, man. They should have just released an image of Idris Elba and just that's it.
Yeah.
Just been like, we're good, man. We paid our penance.
I got to tell you, where that game is now, if it had been released yesterday, it would get Game of the Year.
Oh, yeah. Hands down. Hands down.
It would have got it last year. That game has been good now for a very, very, very long time.
Longer than it was not.
Right. And, you know, it ranks right up there. And we've talked about them all before. No Man's Sky and
videos are on the channel.
Cyberpunk, and all the videos are on our channel. Follow us, like us, subscribe. Anyway, but yeah, I thought it was funny that Crimson Desert forced an apology from CD Projekt Red 5 years removed. But again, I think the game's going to be phenomenal no matter what. You know, if you watch that 2-hour video, which is a hard ask for a lot of people, I get it. It is mind-blowingly, and I'm going to borrow your term, it looks impossibly good.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm skeptical. Is just because it looks so good. You know, it's
gameplay footage of basically
burned,
a release title.
I've been burned.
I get it, man.
I'm scared to love again.
Grab your blankie, embrace it. It's going to be good. I promise you.
I mean, we talked about Mass Effect Andromeda. I mean, I have scars. I
didn't. In fact, I didn't even pick up Mass Effect Andromeda till 2 years. I'm like, let's see what's so shitty about this,
brother. I pre-ordered that shit. I love Mass Effect's my favorite franchise. I was we're getting more Mass Effect. I'm in. And
once the press release came out that it was like whatever it was, how many years in the future, I was like, nah, I'll just wait.
To anybody that has heeded my recommendation of playing Mass Effect 3, though, I want you to know that Andromeda is not required reading. Point. Yeah, like Mass Effect Trilogy. Still play the Mass Effect Trilogy. Heed my words.
Absolutely.
Captain Redbeard, play the Mass Effect Trilogy.
Yeah, good luck with that. We've said it so many times now that I pretty much guarantee he won't. But
Ghost GM, okay, I know you put it up there. I was mid.
Oh, sorry, I'll put it back.
It says, well, Baldur's Gate 3 looked impossibly good, yet here we are, and it did.
Good point.
Although Baldur's Gate 3 was made by Larian, so I trusted it because I knew Larian's lineage and what they had given us already. So I had no trouble believing that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be awesome.
And the funny thing is, the selling point wasn't Larian for me. You're going to laugh, but my selling point for Baldur's Gate 3 was Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Well, we had to play those two for 10 years.
Well, I mean, by that logic, then Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 should have sold you on Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, but the timeline didn't. I didn't want to be that many years in the future with a bunch of prepubescent teens on the ship. So, you know, that part is past me. But I went and played it anyway. I made it to some mission where I was looking for some clue about his dad, and I was like, "Man, this is beyond awful. This is awful." So anyway, I don't want to belabor anymore on that one. But my last one is kind of a question as I get my passcode wrong on my phone. That is going to lead into one of our main topics tonight. Do you feel that next year's Game Awards or any in the future that they should add a category called Best or Mod of the Year?
Okay, so I already know where you're going with this.
I agreed, even though I know that that mod you're thinking about could never win it anyway because it's licensed. But do you think Mod of the Year deserves to be a category? And listen, buddy, if you say no, I'm absolutely okay with it.
Well,
'cause
so
you're a
here's the
console
deal.
guy.
Here's the deal. Because it can go one of two ways. I think because there are mods. I mean, what was the Fallout London, which was
Yes.
fully voice acted, a whole new thing,
And
an
adopted
entirely
by
new.
Bethesda.
Yeah. So there's stuff like that, and you know, and Genesis and things like where people put in so much hard work, but then sometimes that's not out there. Whenever it's games, there's always going to be a killer game out there that can be Game of the Year. There's always going to be something.
Yeah.
But the mod, and granted, it's like there's always mods, but a lot of those, there's a difference between having a mod that transforms a game into an entirely original new concept and game with a beginning, middle, and end, and a narrative and cast and all that stuff, and a mod that lets you play in the nude for, you know, some Dark Souls game.
Obviously, there would be guidelines.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there's different levels, right? And
Yeah.
so not every year would there be something the level of Fallout London or Genesis or something like that. So it's like I would say, yeah, I would be fine with that being a category if there were enough of those quality products out there to warrant it. Otherwise, like if it's a thing where it's like, hey, every 3-4 years we get something like that, and then the rest of the time it's a mod that lets you carry inventory without any of your items having weight or something like that. Like it just doesn't work.
So my thought is this, and obviously I'm alluding to the screenshot behind me, which is Star Wars Genesis. That's where this whole conversation is coming from, which Genesis wouldn't be available to be up for Mod of the Year because it's using a licensed franchise against their will, by the way. But here's my thing with that. First, you'd have to obviously have filters, which you alluded to. Second, I think the category would be all inclusive. So you'd have to include every type of game. For instance, the F1 game had mods for different types of teams that aren't actually in F1.
But
And
see,
I think you would have to, and you'd have to, I mean, it would be a tough vote, but you'd have to include mods from everywhere. And it couldn't be cheap mods.
That's another problem, though, man. That's an apple and oranges problem because it's in our intro.
I disagree with you.
Yeah, because it's in our intro where you have a bit of a crash out over the Game Awards categories with Mario Kart being included with racing games like F1, and then you've got mods where you've got, again, just to use it as an example, Fallout London, this RPG narrative, fully voice acted, hours of gameplay, and a mod for F1 with, you know, certain teams or whatever. There's nothing similar, and both can be great, but it's like, how do you put one above the other whenever the criteria and the goals of both are so completely different?
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you, man, at all, because it's a hard topic to even face. If you're like a selection committee going, it's no different than when the Olympics decide to put a new sport in the Olympics. You know, you're sitting there, you're like, why should we? Well, why shouldn't we? Well, this is the problems we're going to run into. And I'll give you another F1 example because it was a good one. This year, F1 signed a contract with Lego to produce a bunch of Lego F1 cars. And somebody designed a mod that changes all the real life cars in the game to their Lego variant. So when they wreck, they break apart in studs. You know, instead of the actual piece of the car coming off, it busts. And it's phenomenal. And it's cute. And it's, you know, something that is fun to play. But can you lump that in with, like, let's say Genesis wasn't from a licensed franchise. Can you lump that in with something like Genesis and make a comparison on one on why one needs to win over the other. No, you probably can't.
Although,
I just think it's a good topic for a serious debate.
well, I guess, and now granted, the difference between these two, between what two potential mods could be is far greater than the standard video game. However, Game of the Year is still it's everything from Baldur's Gate 3 to Astrobot. And there's best RPG, best action adventure, best racing game, and those are all quarantined into their own little things. But when it comes to Game of the Year, it's free for all. And we've seen everything from Hades, which is a roguelike, get it, to like stuff like Metal Gear games,
Hollow
Death Stranding,
Knight.
and like so. I guess to that end, how do you vote for one over the other whenever it comes to some of these years that we've seen such completely different video game experiences within that one category?
Yeah, agreed. That's just something I wanted to throw out there, man, because I think it's something interesting to discuss as we move forward in the future. And I think as consoles become more like miniature PCs, and we're starting to see mods show up on consoles a lot, I think it's a decent discussion. Not like the one we're about to have, though, which also stemmed from Genesis, by the way.
I do want to throw in
Go ahead.
one thing.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's one that I forgot to bring up just because it was like, I guess, file this under another one that I guess we could consider news you already thought was news. Because, obviously, we talked about Xbox last week and Asha Sharma being ushered in as the new Xbox CEO, coming from AI, from the AI wing from Microsoft, coming into Xbox with no game experience. And obviously one of our primary concerns was AI. Would it surprise you, Jay, that it was reported as of yesterday, Xbox files patent for Get Good AI tech as competition with PlayStation heats up? Xbox has filed a patent for basically an AI helper, where if you get stuck in a game, you could essentially summon AI to either give you tips to get you beyond that point and coach you through it, or just have it play for you and get you past it.
Okay, so I'm
buying games so the games
can
can play themselves.
I'm going to make two comments that are probably mutually exclusive, but one is we had to see it coming, right?
Oh yeah, that's our exact fear.
And two is we live in an age where people that play the I like Alex's comment because he's going right where I'm going. We live in an age where so many people are into like Soulsborne games because of their difficulty. It's bragging rights to be able to say, I'm on New Game Plus 38 or whatever, and I've beaten, and I'm going to butcher names, but I've beaten Melania 99 times and Radon 50. Those are bragging rights because let's face it, still the gaming community is relatively young.
Yeah.
Those are bragging rights things. Those are things they talk about at school when they talk about around the water cooler. So now the question's going to be, yeah, but did you use AI to get you through that, or did you beat it? And then if they say, no, I beat it on my own, you know what it's going to be? That's bullshit. Well, you used the AI to get you through that.
And I hope this doesn't happen. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't get applied. But yeah, I fully expect it to be a thing.
Yeah.
The other, though, is I would hope that if it was a thing and you could use it, that it would be like a lot of the games that support cheats, not like PC games, but games where you can actually bring up a menu and you can actually put in a cheat or something like that, and it disables the achievements for that game.
Yeah, of course. It definitely should disable achievements and trophies and whatever.
So it's like, if you use the AI helper, you don't get the achievement that says you beat the game because you didn't beat the game. AI did. Or at least AI got you to a point where you could beat the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, but go ahead. Now go on to your thing.
So I was playing Genesis this week, which I did absolutely hardcore sessions of Genesis this week. And I played 3 quests that were absolutely flawless in their design and their storytelling. One would have almost, at the very least, brought chills to your face, if not a tear. And it was about a hour and 45-minute quest line that was unbelievably well written. Then I went into a quest that not only the quest itself was good, the escape was awful, and it got me thinking to the point that I texted you and I said, hey, here's a topic you need to wrap your mind around for this week. Annoying game mechanics that have been around forever that need to disappear in 2026. And at first I thought, when I said that, you didn't respond, although I didn't know at the time you were having a pretty crazy hectic week. I thought, well, he didn't buy into that. We're probably, maybe we're not going to talk. Maybe I'll table that. You came back today and you're like, dude, I'm really super stoked about talking about this tonight. And I was like, wait, what? So here we are talking about it. So I would like to start off, if that's okay.
Yes, go for it.
And I'm going to start off with what I call, and I gave all of mine titles.
Yeah, you wrote in code that looked like it belonged in the Epstein files, dude. Like, I was like,
Yes.
What does this mean?
So my first is what I call, and not every game does this, and most of mine are related to RPGs except for a couple, and some of them cross barriers into other genres, but what I call the inescapable dungeon. And one game, there was a game by a small developer called Bethesda, and it was a little single-A game called Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Plucky startup.
That came out. And one thing I loved about that game is when you went into a dungeon, especially the dwarven ones, where you felt like you're traveling for days, and you're like, dude, how am I going to find my way back out of here? And I have a decent memory, so I don't know what it's like for people with a shitty memory, but System of the Rips, that's a great comment. One thing they always did in Skyrim, when you got to the final room and you beat the boss, usually behind a wall was a door that let you right out of and you're like, yes, thank you.
Because even worse would be if you went into one of those dungeons in some other game, and not only just stayed there for a while in the dungeon because of all the stuff. What if you had those things where you go in the dungeon and then you hit that thing where you don't play for 6 months and then you come back and you're like, I don't even remember how I got here.
I don't know how I got here, man. So, and of course you got the arrow, but the arrow is just an arrow, or the little hexagon that's floating that tells you where you need to be. And you're like, okay, that looks like that's about 10 stories up. I don't know where I'm going. So oddly enough, I'm playing Star Wars Genesis, which is a mod of Starfield, which, oh, by the way, is a Bethesda game. So I'm working my way down through this compound, which I found out is actually a compound from Starfield that has been remasked, and the whole quest has been rewritten as a Star Wars. And this is a great quest line because in here is where you find like the plans for the original Death Star. So this is like super impactful stuff. But as I'm going down and down, like part of it was like an actual lab compound, and then it switched to where I was in like a cave network, and then back into a compound, and then another cave network, and then finally into another compound. I'm like, man, thank God this is a Bethesda game, and I'll just get an easy out. Then I finished the quest, and guess what? No easy out. And I'm like, and just like you said, I had played part of that quest the previous night. And it took me longer to get out of there and back to my ship than it took me to do the quest, which is saying a lot because the quest took an hour. And
you do the whole maze thing where you just put your hand against the wall and you just follow it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that very next morning is when I sent you the text, because that was on my mind as soon as I woke up that morning. Like, I'm brushing my teeth for work going, what the fuck was that?
Clip that.
Right. So anyway, that is my first one. The inescapable. It needs to stop. We don't need I get it. If you want a puzzle game, add a maze, but mazes in these we don't have the time anymore that we used to have. We're adults with lives and jobs, and just let us get to the bottom. We fight the big boss and give us an out.
Well, so I'll say this too, as far as that goes. In like FromSoft, when you have a FromSoft game, they're so good about stacking their environments and whatever in such a way that once you finish, then you realize like, oh, there's a door here, and then it like pops you out, and you're like, oh my god, that door was there the whole time. I just couldn't reach it from the start.
Right.
But now that boom. And that's great. I love it whenever it does that, and it's just this really brilliant, ingenious level
Elden
design.
Ring was fantastic about that. Yeah.
However, just for the sheer convenience, I'll give you a pass. I don't care how the fuck we get back to the start. You can just do a thing where you teleport, and teleportation's not a thing anywhere else in the game, and I'll accept it just so that I don't have to walk all the way back through and figure that out. Like, I will give you a pass. Just boom, warp me back. I'm fine with it. So, is it great if you can like do these really elaborate level designs and like a tiered wedding cake? Yeah. But if not, just put me back. I don't care. I'll give it to you. Just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anyway, that was my first one. I figured we'd just switch off and try to move kind of through them quick. That was a pretty cut and dry one. You know, give me an out is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
give me a big elevator at the end that takes me all the way back to the top.
Yeah, let me ride a puma back to the starting line. I don't care. Just get me out of there.
Give me a spirit animal that's like, yeah, whoosh, and we're back.
So the first one that came to my mind immediately whenever you brought this up was, as far as game mechanics go that we think need to die and never come back. First one that came to my mind whenever you brought up this topic was the rule of 3. I think the rule of 3 needs to die.
And you thought mine were cryptic? What's the rule of 3?
Rule of 3. Rule of 3. Okay. Rule of 3. Let's say, hey, you got to get through a door, okay? But you need a key. Unfortunately, that key's broken. How many pieces of that key are there? There's 3 pieces. You got to gather 3 pieces.
You're right.
Let's say that you have
That's
to
a really good one.
you have to blow a generator, right? You got to blow a generator, and there's all sorts of power sources. How many power sources are there? Well, actually, usually there's 4. How many shots does it take to blow them up? 3. 3 shots to blow up those generators. If you're in a horror game and you come up to the door and you need to like shoulder check it to push it.
Oh, these are good.
How many shoulder checks does it take? It takes 3 fucking shoulder checks to break that door.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it, dude. We don't need to do it anymore. It's a video game.
Kill it.
Yes, kill it. Like, it might be kind of cool the first time. Like, okay, you find a jammed door.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to, get it in there. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of kind of like get you into it and make it feel more real. After about 20 doors, dude, let me just open it. Let me just blow this thing with a shotgun. That's the other thing, is whenever there's wood that's over the door where it's got wooden slats that you got to shoot out.
Yeah.
How many wooden slats are there that you got to shoot out?
3.
There's 3. So, yeah, kill the rule of 3.
That's a good one. That is a solid one. Okay, my next one is the 2-second mount problem. So I love mounts in games because I'm not a fast traveler. The only time I fast travel is when I get little kid excited because I finally found that last crafting component I needed for a sword or for a weapon or a piece of armor. Then I'll fast travel. But other than that, I don't. So I love mounts. What I don't, and I can't believe I just praised Skyrim and now I'm going to rip them to shreds. What I don't like is that as soon as I mount my horse and I get 10 feet down the road, there's 2 wolves that are going to take me off my horse. 2 wolves that normally would never attack a horse with a fully mounted and weaponized knight in real life would never do that. Maybe a pack of wolves would, but not 2. And there's always 2 wolves in Skyrim. So it makes your mount worthless because you're getting off of it every 2 seconds. Because guess what else is in Skyrim? A ton of frickin' wolves. So I literally, on the PC version, downloaded a mod that said complacent wolves. So they just stand there.
They're tame.
Yeah, so I can, and a lot of people say, well, you have to get off your mount constantly anyway because you'll see something glittering over in the distance. Well, that's on you, right? If you get off to go, or I see a cave or I see a chest over there, I'm going to get off my horse long enough to do that. That's on you. But getting attacked by mosquitoes that take you off your horse every quarter mile makes the mount worthless. I hate it when they make the mount worthless. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I agree with that one as well. It's really frustrating, especially whenever you get into a situation where not only do you get knocked off, but then you can't get back on. You're trying to like get away from the wolves, like maybe your health's low, so you're trying to get away, and every time you try to get back on, you're locked in this animation that knocks you off again. It's absolutely horrible. And it actually, I was going to have a different one next, but I'll go ahead and bump one of mine up in the queue because it's very similar, and that is getting knocked out of aiming down sights if you get hit. Where like if you aim down sights and then something hits you and then the sights go away, and it's
And
like
you get staggered too.
Yeah, and I can read the comments already. I can foresee the comments of
get good, bro.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about something here with that Ghost. The quest for escorting Martian and Oblivion with the horses. So, but yeah, I can read the comments in my head already. I can already see them coming. That they'll say like, well, if you were aiming down the sights and you got shot in real life, would you continue to aim down the sights? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't be the sole survivor in a zombie apocalypse. So, we've got to make some concessions where we can find them. And I think that's a good one because that gets frustrating where especially if the weapon has to be aimed down sights to be fired, if there's no hip fire. So, quit knocking us out of aiming down sights every time we get bumped. I hate it.
Yeah, it'll even happen. There was I forgot what game it was, but even if you got in like a mounted artillery weapon and you were aiming, it would get hit and it would stagger no, that's never going to happen. So yeah, I feel you on that one. My next one is also a mount issue, and I call this the ether mount problem. And so I'm also big on immersion. I live in the real world, much like you, and we work real jobs, and these are escapes from reality. And I don't like it that if I didn't bring my horse with me on a quest and then I get done with the quest and I want my horse to travel faster, I can just whistle for it or press a button and my horse just shows up out of the ether. I think I should pay the price for not taking my horse with me and not keeping track of my horse and not being accountable for my horse. So I don't really like it. And you might disagree with me on that one, but I don't like being able to just, and then my horse shows up.
I cannot follow you down this path, Jay.
That's fine.
This is where we part. This is Fast and the Furious 7, where we part ways in the grass. So I am a big fan of that. Much like I will give a pass once we do a dungeon or whatever, and you send me back with a freaking genie to the front of that thing. I don't care. Just get me out of there. Just bring me my horse back. Just get it back to me. I don't care. So yeah, I am very pro ether horse. So yeah, I'm a big fan, big supporter of the ether horse.
Okay. You're next.
Well, mine. So somebody brought up escorting missions. This kind of plays into that. And I hate the fact that it's so many games, like every freaking game. Some of them have fixes, but it's still a manual fix. And when we've talked about this, even recently we talked about this, and that is that you live at a different speed than the NPCs. You walk slower than they walk, but you run faster than they run. So whenever you're walking or escorting or something along the way, you are either falling behind them because you're too slow, or you are running beyond them and you have to wait for them. I hate it. It makes no sense. Now, there have been a couple of games that have fixed this on horseback, not walking, and that was, I was going to say GTA, but it was Red Dead Redemption.
System.
Well, good system. Appreciate you. Red Dead Redemption and Witcher 3. And they had
Witcher
things where
3 did great though.
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I'm saying. That they fix it by holding a button and it locks you into the follow and you stay at the same pace.
You're matching the target speed.
Yeah. However, so while I do appreciate that, guys, and Project and Rockstar, I appreciate you guys so much for doing that. However, I should be able to do that just without having to push a button because I should be able to just naturally follow the same gate. But at least you did something, and you're the only ones that have done something about it. I hate that.
Well, man, these have all been good. That one was excellent. My next one is what I call the Ponzi scheme help quest. And the funny thing is this aligns with the rule of 3. So I'm playing Genesis the other night, which, by the way, is the best mod ever created. Should be mod of the year. And I'm supposed to go meet a contact on Nar Shaddaa. So I get there and I need him to tell me where this hacker is that I can find. And he goes, yeah, I know the guy that you need to talk to, but man, I need you to do me a favor first. And I'm like, okay, let's do this favor. Well, this favor
I've
turned
seen
into
this
3
movie
favors.
before.
This is 3 favors. So I finished the 3 favors. And he goes, all right, we'll take you to this guy that knows the hacker. So they take me down to the hacker. And the hacker's like, man, I can't just do this for free. He goes, I need you to help me with something. Guess how many things he needs me to do? 3 things. So I have to go do 3 things to get to the hacker. So then I finally get to the hacker, which was the whole point of this quest anyway. And guess what? She needs to help me. She's got a gang after her. She needs a case from a locker that's locked in Imperial territory and blah, blah, blah. So now she needs 3 things. So I call it the Ponzi scheme help quest because it's probably not actually a Ponzi scheme, but I just feel like you just get ramshackled into the, I'm like, dude, if this was a movie, this would be, hey, I met this guy in this seedy dark alley who knows this other guy. Okay, we'll take you to him. Okay, get down there. Hey, yeah, she's in here. Let's go talk to her. But let me do all the talking. That's how it would be in a movie. Let's do it that way. I hate, and I know this falls so much in line with the rule of 3 that it's,
well, it's not, it goes a little bit beyond even the rule of 3. Like there is the 3 thing, but there's also the fact where it's like, okay, so apparently I'm just like the easiest person in the galaxy to talk to. Everybody's just trusting me with their problems. Like, you don't know me. I just got here, and I'm wearing the clothes of some dude that I just killed outside your door. You know? Like, why are you telling me this? I'm like, this is... why? Why would you trust me with this information? You know?
Yeah,
and why did you let your kid play in the forest, and now I've got to go find him? Like, it's all stupid. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
In short.
Well, that was my next one.
One of the others is going back to the escort things and all that stuff. It's kind of one of those things where it's just like instructions unclear. Where this one's not a big one, but I just hate it. It's lazy, and it'll be like you do a mission or whatever, you start a mission, and then it says like, "Oh, follow Nigel to wherever," and then you just sit there and you just stare at Nigel, and you can see the thing in the upper right hand corner. Follow Nigel, and you're staring at Nigel. And Nigel ain't moving. So then you move, and then Nigel follows you.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're not following Nigel. You're escorting Nigel. It's like, just tell me to escort him there, and I would have been moving 38 seconds ago. We could have already been halfway there. So that is just laziness. And
Skyrim was famous for that, too. That was another one. And so was Mass Effect.
Even worse, is whenever it does the thing, it says, hey, follow Nigel to wherever. And then you wait again. Nigel doesn't move. So you're like, okay, let me walk. And then Nigel stays there. And come to find out, Nigel's just not going to follow you. He's not going to lead you. He's going to teleport. He's just going to be there when you get there. But you have to just change some wording. Say, hey, meet Nigel here. Or, escort Nigel here. And some games do it, but some games they're just lazy and they use the wrong wording, and I just hate it. It's annoying. It's just a little greedy.
Yeah, and some games do the whole, which I think is great when they say, they have the NPC say something like, hey, when you've got a minute, meet me over in Markarth or whatever. And you're like, yeah, cool. I'll just meet you there. Makes more sense. My next one is, and this is the first time I remember this being a problem was, and I hate it because all these are stemming from incredible games. But it just shows you that even incredible games have a lot of ability to grow. But this is stemming from Knights of the Old Republic, the first one. And I call it the amnesia trope. So here I am, I'm Revan, I'm this all-powerful Jedi, and I start the game not only in my underwear, but also with no memory of who I am, what I have abilities for. And I don't feel like we need to do that anymore. I feel like instead of giving me amnesia with none of my abilities, let me start the game as a full-powered Force user, not necessarily aligned one way or the other, and just make the enemies harder. I mean, we're in an age where people love incredibly hard and difficult enemies, so just make the enemies harder. Don't make me lose all of my skills, man. Well, and I hate that. It's not even because it's stupid. It's because it doesn't make sense.
No, to give a little bit of a pass to Knights of the Old Republic, it wasn't as heavily worn a trope at that time as it would become.
Oh, yeah.
But boy, did it become one. And Now, no spoilers because there's people that I have wanted to play Mass Effect, the Mass Effect trilogy. So I'm not going to do any spoilers. But I will say that the extent to which they go in Mass Effect 2, after you just spent 60 hours maxing your dude out to be this unkillable badass in Mass Effect 1, to break you back down in the beginning of Mass Effect 2, the insane lengths that they go to bring you back down is brutal. Like, the trope is so strong that they're like, we have to do this just to bring you back down so that we can build you back up.
Yeah. I mean, and part of me knows why they do it, but the other part, and and I get the whole the dev argument is always going to be game balance. But again, just make it more difficult in other places. And so I don't understand why we're still doing that in 2026. My next one is basically in line with that previous one. Oh no, it's your turn. Sorry.
Well, if you want to go with that one, I've got one more left.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good because then I'll have another one. I've got technically two, which I'm about to say one of them, so I've got one more left.
All right.
But the other one, in the same vein as the amnesia trope, is why do I always have to be the one problem? And Skyrim, I'm the last Dragonborn, and whatever game you play, I'm the last of this. You're the one. You're the only one that
the chosen
give me a game where I'm just nobody. I mean, I'm a flat out nobody, or I'm in support of the one.
Yeah,
and
you're a disciple.
And I'm working my way up, or maybe I'm going to take him out at the end. Maybe give me the moral choice of take him out at the end and take his place or her place. Why do I?
Somebody's done that, Larian.
Why do I always have to be the one? And I'm just, it's a tired, exhausting trope.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, well, if you're not the one, then the story's not as interesting. So I can understand, like, if the story has a one, in Souls games, you're often the opposite of the chosen. In Dark Souls, specifically, you are the last one that is true. FromSoft, whenever you're like, hey, why can't I be a nobody? Well, you can be. Play a Souls game, and they'll start you off in your underwear with a pot on your head. But my last mechanic that I despise is, let's say like RPGs are horrific for this, and you have some big boss and big bad, and you have to work for all this stuff, and you level up or whatever, and you can finally compete against them, and maybe you have to do it a few times, have this battle, and they've got the flaming sword of Mariketh or whatever the hell, I don't know, just some crazy wild thing.
That was a good out of your ass there you go. Weapon name. Yeah,
and nice. and then so you slay this guy, you beat him, and then you go to loot his body, and there it is, flaming sword of Mariketh, and you equip it, and then you whip out a butcher knife, where it's like, this thing was 3 stories tall not 20 seconds ago. And now it's right here, and the sword that I used to beat him to get this already is out-leveling this thing. This is worthless. I hate that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they have these massive, impressive weapons. You're like, oh, man, if I could get that. And then when you get it, it looks like a freaking keychain.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. And I want to piggyback on I still have one more, but I want to piggyback on that. Another one I hate is when you kill an enemy and you can't loot the stuff they're wearing or the weapon they're carrying. In fact, they'll have a whole different set. You'll walk up to this guy with this absolutely beast looking armor, crazy looking sword, and you'll walk up and he has a pair of fine undergarments and damaged dagger. And you're like, dude, what the F, dude? Why did I even fight this guy?
Yeah. Okay, great. I have a pocket knife and a pair of toe socks. Thank goodness. Yeah, at least that's one thing that CD Projekt Red did in Cyberpunk. Like, if there was a character, like one of the main characters, and he had on a cool jacket, if you killed that guy, you got that cool jacket.
Yeah, which was nice. Yeah. So my last one was what I call the 1-year sports career. Making sure it's my last one. It is my last one. And anybody that's played any sports game in the past 30 years knows what I'm talking about. And I get it. There's people out there that simulate. I know some people that simulate the first 10 years of their season in whatever sport they're playing, and then they pick it up in the 10th season. But not everybody does that, and not everybody can do that. And then you play Madden and you start a franchise and you barely get through the first year, and here's the next Madden. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. MLB The Show has always let you carry forward, since MLB The Show 16 has always let you carry your career forward to the very next game, the very next iteration of the game. But if you play wrestling, or if you play hockey, or FIFA, or FC, or whatever it's called now, any other sport game, you're stuck with that, what I call the 1-year career. Then you start over fresh again the very next year, because you know you're going to buy the next year's title unless you just decide to get off the horse and stop doing that. And I know people that do that are like, yeah, man, I'm still on Madden 15. I'm in my 48th season on Madden 15. And
I just signed a contract extension with the Chiefs.
yeah, kudos to those guys that do that, because that's actually the smart way to do it. Because then if your desire is to build a 30-year franchise, that's the only way to do it. If you're a wrestler, a pro wrestler, man, I'll let you do the wrestling part.
So this is what I thought you meant whenever I read your cryptic title of that one. And once you explained to me, I'm like, oh, no, that makes sense. But in wrestling games, the thing is that they'll have basically two different sort of versions of essentially what would be a career path. One of them is, I'm talking specifically about the WWE 2K games and the games before the 2K games, but whenever they're made by THQ. But that is that they would have like a My Rise, which is essentially you start off as an indie wrestler, a nobody, and then you join the WWE, and then you go through this career, and your whole thing is to go from being a nobody to winning a championship and then being in the Hall of Fame. And that spans 1 calendar year. And that's not how that works.
No,
you don't get to sniff a championship for years. You know, obviously, yeah, it's fake, it's all written, but it just seems so crazy. Like you can't in any a boxer, Mike Tyson didn't become a Hall of Famer in 1 year.
No, system. As much as we love you, buddy, no, Mario Tennis does not count.
But yeah, so yeah, that's what I thought you meant was that, and also they have another one where you're just playing.
That's still good though. That's actually also true, man. So yeah, it's on point.
Yeah, so I hate that. So I'm very curious. Anybody that listens to this, whether live or in our edited segment, any sort of if you have any mechanics that drive you crazy, if you have any gaming mechanics that just grind your gears and drive you crazy, eat you up inside, let us know in the comments. Tell us. And we would love to do a part 2 of this, like a commenter's choice of game mechanics that we wish would die.
Especially mechanics that are in 99% of the games in that genre. We get it. There's exceptions games everywhere. But if it's in 90, and most of the ones we brought up tonight are in 90+% of that genre's games, man. And they won't go away.
And Ghost just brought up yellow paint for puzzles. This is a thing especially like Tomb Raider games or something like that. Uncharted, they would have a thing where there'd be cliffs. So we're talking about ancient cliffs that have been undisturbed for thousands of years, and there's yellow paint on the ledges that you can actually get to, so that you can know how to scale. Or the Division. Yeah,
the Division. There's a yellow tarp anywhere you can climb or parkour. There's a yellow tarp.
Yeah. So that is a very well-known trope as well. Yes.
Yeah.
That is a good call.
Or any red can be exploded.
Yeah. Yeah, we know what red means. Any game, if it's red and you got a gun.
Yeah. It's exploding. And I'm sure there's probably tropes about, or not tropes, but there's probably annoying mechanics. There's tons of that I've even forgot. I know I've got a bunch with locked doors that I have problems with, or treasure chests being
just nudge it 3 times.
Unobtainable. Yeah, unobtainable treasure chests. But anyway, I felt like that was a good topic tonight, man. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, let us know your mechanics that you hate, and we would love to do a commenter special follow-up on this. This was fun.
Yes, absolutely, because I'm sure they'll come up with some, and we'll be like, Oh my God, how did I?
That's
Yes, that's phenomenal, man. But anyway, man, that's all I had on games.
Okay, well, I will use this as a transitional one between games and our other media, just because it's going to be quick, and that is just a follow up to our God of War situation that we had last week. So we had the God of War promotional photo come out from Amazon Prime. Well, Ryan Hurst, the guy that actually plays Kratos in that show, actually came out with a response. He just posted on Instagram, and it was just a story, disappears after 24 hours. It was just text, and it was very simple. And it just said, "Don't believe everything you see on the internet, kids." So, two things. One, we don't. Amazon officially released it. That was released by your employer. It wasn't just some random dude saying, "Hey, look at this." Amazon officially released it, which, as we said last week, was a dumb decision. Why would you do that? But two, it also, though, does give me hope that maybe it was just early
A
costume
promotional
testing.
shot.
Not even a promotional shot. Like, I think they obviously use it as a promotional shot, but what I'm hoping is that it was like a mock-up. Just like a vibe check. Hey, just throw them in something that looks roughly like what they're going to be doing, and just kind of get them in position and make sure that the characters are believable. Like, can we believe that he's Kratos if we squint our eyes and we just stand far enough back? Like, how readable is this? Like, and just kind of doing that kind of thing, like a dress rehearsal, where hey, people aren't in full makeup, they're not doing everything. We just kind of want to get everybody like hitting their points, whatever. Kind of like that, just to do a costume test and then do it forward. Do it better. So. Go ahead.
It could have been something as simple as, "Hey, we expected more people to add this to their wish list last week, and they didn't, and we need something to."
So
the suits, man. Yeah.
Which again, of
course, I didn't have as big a problem with it as you did, but yeah.
I had a big problem. That video's on the channel too. But
where you painted yourself as Kronos or as Kratos. And me as the little son.
The thumbnails of the previous live show.
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
You looked good with the bow and arrow.
We'll discuss later.
You looked good with the bow and arrow.
Right. Yeah.
And it left your hat on. It
will squash you like fucking bug.
But yeah, so I don't know why they released it. Amazon, that was a dumb decision for Amazon to release it, but it sounds like they might have gotten the point, and hopefully we get a much better thing, which is kind of what we had hoped and suspected. That's why we brought up the Henry Cavill in The Witcher first promotional thing, where it looked awful, and then by the time the show came out, he looked great. So
real quick, speaking of Henry Cavill, there's folks, please don't believe it if you're seeing screenshots and social media of him standing next to Christopher Lambert, that he's going to be in the Highlander. He died over a year and a half ago. So it's driving me crazy, and it's mean.
General Tarkin.
It's mean. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, you're
man, I was triggered when I saw those photos this week.
Well, so, my stuff's been going so crazy with like AI stuff is really out like insane, because Punch the Monkey, right? We all love Punch the Monkey. He's a cute guy, breaks our hearts. But there's so many AI photos of Punch the Monkey, and you can tell because the orangutan that he carries around is like all weird and like they got short arms or whatever, because the AI keeps. So it's like, there's so many AI pictures of Punch the Monkey. So AI pictures are everywhere. So yeah, Henry Cavill's getting hit. The Avengers stuff, like you can't freaking believe anything anymore, man.
No,
but that's all I got as far as that goes. But yeah, so Ryan Hurst voiced that out there. But so one, like I said, it's kind of stupid just because it wasn't just, we didn't just believe anything we were shown. We believed what Amazon showed us. But it sounds like they might be getting it. But that's all. I just wanted to tie that in.
So my first one is television, maybe related, television adjacent. Nathan Fillion starred in the greatest sci-fi television show that never was or never got to be, which was
the greatest single season sci-fi show.
Which was a little show I call Firefly. And every actor on that show has went on to other things now. Nathan Fillion's in The Rookie. Marina Baccarin is a forest police agent who knows what, and plus she was in the Deadpool movies. But Nathan Fillion has started a social media channel called Once We Were Spacemen. And he's walking around, and you see him in these videos knocking on a door, and somebody from Firefly shows up and answers the door and typically says something that they said on the show. Like, for instance, this morning, they finally got Jewel State to answer the door, who played Keighley, and she said shiny, which is what everybody wanted. Fan service extraordinaire. And if you go to the comments on any of these videos, everybody's like, this better not be a Funko Pop launch or a podcast.
Yeah,
launch.
don't make this a podcast.
This better be real, because they end up quoting Wash from episode 1, season 1 of the only season, saying, "Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal." But he has hit everybody's house except for Alan Tudyk, but he was on Jonathan Frakes and Brent Spiner's podcast, and the episode is literally titled "Once We Were Spacemen." And there's supposed to be an announcement this Sunday. So mark your social media calendar, whatever that is. And the announcement of what these videos have meant is supposed to occur on Sunday.
I'm not going to lie. I've been seeing these, and I have assumed it was a podcast.
I have also assumed this as a podcast. Obviously, what everybody wants, every brown coater out there in the verse,
season 2,
who knows they stole the sky from us, we all want Firefly the reunion. It's problematic at best because Alan Tudyk's character died in the movie.
Spoilers.
But Tobin Washburn, rest in peace, was one of our favorite characters. I do think there are ways to bring him back. I even suggested one on Twitter a couple of years ago that I thought was brilliant. But
you do say so yourself.
Obviously, I don't matter. So anyway, I do hope. I don't know what your thoughts are, man, but we need a second season. We need closure. Serenity was a great movie, but it was not closure. In fact, it was the wrong kind of closure. And of course, Ron Glass, who played Shepard Book, has since passed, but he passed in the movie as well. So that's an easy out on that one. But Wash, not so much. Wash is not an easy out. So how do you feel, man? How does anybody else feel that's watching?
To quote Hawkeye from Endgame, don't give me hope.
Wow, I've seen that meme on the comments on these videos, because that's a great one. That's the best one.
That's what anytime the rumor mill kicks up around a season 2, that's don't like, because I've been living my life just fine without this, and to bring this in and reintroduce this just to break my heart all over again is cruel and inhumane. So if it is a podcast, I will be disappointed. So and that's what I expect, and I'm still going to be disappointed. But please surprise me.
I'll tell you right now, Captain Malcolm Reynolds, if you're watching this show, which we know you are, I'm going to tell you right now, if this is not what we want, all of the blame will rest on your brown-coated shoulders. All of it. I will not blame any of the other actors or actresses involved in your scheme, because we know you were the ringleader.
You have to assume, though, that...
Don't say it.
I'm dying already, see?
Don't say it.
You have to assume that they would already know the weight of what they're playing with.
They gotta know, man.
I mean, because they've been dealing with it for years upon years upon years now. So,
and on top of that, they never miss the opportunity to show up at like a Comic-Con or a fan expo, so they know.
Yeah, so you would think that they would know better than to play with people's emotions and pretend like, hey, maybe it's going to be something, get people's hopes up, just to be like, hey, we've got a 6-episode podcast that'll come out once a month for the next 6 months. Tune in.
Yeah.
And it'll be behind the scenes talk.
And here's the thing. There's been a lot of people saying, well, it could be an animated reunion.
I'd take that.
which is fine.
I'd take that.
If they do something in the vein
Put it
of
on Netflix.
Critical Roles, if they do something in the vein of Critical Roles, Vox Machina, or the Mighty Nine, I'd be fine with that because then they can tell whatever story they want to. It could be a prequel to the movie, and Wash could come back, and it would be that would be fine.
Or it could be a spiritual successor where, like, hey, we don't have the rights to this, but you know, our characters will be just legally distinct enough to be, you know, something else, and then just kind of go on and do their whole thing, and just be a spiritual successor.
If it's Fucko Pops or freaking podcast, I'm going to lose my mind. I mean, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, if Nathan Fillion comes on, he's like, so, I know you've all been waiting, and I have a new NFT project that I would like to announce. I'm like,
yeah. That would be the worst. Yeah. Oh, man. That would be the worst. Yeah, man, we'll definitely be circling back next week after this announcement on Sunday, because that segment is either going to be awesome news that would be enough to me to move TV to the front of the pile.
We'll be wearing brown coats on the thumbnail.
We will be TV before games next week, or it's going to be bad, and Nathan Fillion is going to absolutely catch hell from me.
We'll both be wearing sunglasses so that you can't see how red and puffy our eyes are.
Well, you'll be wearing sunglasses. I would be wearing Walton Goggins goggle glasses.
Sponsor us, Walton. Come on.
Come on, dude. I'm telling you, every episode. Anyway, yeah, so that was, that's part of my my TV deal was the Once We Were Spacemen. And anyway, the only other one I had for TV, well, there's a couple of them, but was obviously, I do the Fuel Pod for Formula One.
Yes.
I'm adding NASCAR and IndyCar this year. I'm adding it back, actually. We actually started with it and then dumped it for straight Formula One. But I'm bringing back in NASCAR and IndyCar because I was inspired by. Yes,
I have a stupid question as a non-race. Do seasons overlap in racing, or are they all separate?
Well, they're all separate, but NASCAR started 3 weeks ago, and IndyCar started last week. And since the show for the past 2 years has been known as a Formula One show, I'm starting with the season, so I'll be late with NASCAR and IndyCar, which is fine because I wanted a good way to bring it back into the fold. And that was inspired by Will Buxton and Kevin Harvick getting their podcast together called Speed, which Will Buxton is heavily into Formula One and IndyCar, and Button is into NASCAR. And their podcast is if I could get mine to be that level, man, that would be wonderful. But both of them are great on there. But I wanted to tell anybody too that from a TV standpoint, no longer do you have to pay $84.99 a year for F1 TV to watch F1 races, which was insane, by the way.
Especially
now,
when that's all you're getting. It was exclusively F1.
Yes. Now, you could go back and watch the 1950 season if you wanted, which I thought was cool. But still, it's $85 a year. Now it's lumped in. Apple TV bought them out this previous season. And it's going to be available through your Apple TV subscription. I've already logged on to Apple TV today.
So can you also do the thing where you pick your driver and view it through that whole? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on. I don't want to put you on the spot. But do you happen to know how much Apple paid for that?
I do not know, but I know it was in the triple digits of millions.
I was like, that's got, because obviously F1 is such a huge deal right now. Like I've got to imagine that was expensive.
Yeah, the funny thing is right now on my vertical monitor to my left is the Australian practice for the Australian GP that's coming up on Sunday. So you have access to practice, you have access to qualifying, you have access to the races, you have access to the junior level. So you have F2 and F3, and it's actually simpler than the F1 TV app. When you log into your Apple TV, there's literally an F1 button now. And you just click on it, and it takes you to their whole gamut of stuff going on.
The command center.
Yeah. So that being said, we're bringing back the show. As we mentioned before, we're bringing it back Saturday. We're going to do like a little preview show and then do a watch along for the race. Hopefully, if I can get everything lined up for that. which I think will be awesome. The race is Saturday night at 10 o'clock at Albert Park in Australia. It'll be 3 o'clock p.m. local their time, but 10 o'clock Saturday night here. And then that being said, I'm halfway through Drive to Survive season 8 on Netflix. And the fact that it has made it 8 seasons for a racing reality show in the United States that is not as popular in the United States as NASCAR and IndyCar is an amazing feat in and of itself. But so far the season's been fantastic. And I'm trying to finish it up this weekend. But anyway, if you're any racing fans out there, make sure you get back into that. And last but not least, and I'm blaming this totally on Russ because he made me watch for homework the entire season of One Piece on Netflix.
The live action.
I had never seen the anime. I knew that One Piece was an anime. That's as far as I didn't know what it was about. I didn't have any preconception of what I was going to be watching. But apparently this show, the anime itself has, what did you say, 1,500 episodes or something?
It's over 1,000 now.
Yeah.
They reached 1,000 episodes like a couple years ago.
The creator, I think his name is Ichiro Oda.
Yes, Oda.
The biggest secret for this show is what that One Piece treasure actually is. That's always been he's never revealed it. He's always just had it in his head.
And this show has been going on for decades. And they've got trading cards and whatever. Mangas.
And I guess to celebrate 600 million, whatever it was, 600 million, sales or releases.
Ludicrous generational wealth.
Yeah. He got together with Japanese marine researching team, and they took a boat, a little tiny boat that almost looks like the one from One Piece, out into the middle of the ocean.
They should have called it the Going Merry.
He took the secret from his head and put it on paper and put that paper inside of a treasure chest and locked that treasure chest. And they put that treasure chest into a pressure-contained case, and they took it underwater 651 meters to the ocean floor, and it is now buried there like a real pirate treasure should be, which I think is one of the coolest things I'd ever read this week, for sure.
It's pretty gangster. That's pretty wild. And especially...
How many people do you think are going to go out there and try to guess where he was and where it is and try to find it?
Well, the other thing though is, now granted, I don't know. I'm not a diver. I don't know, but I have to assume, given that they went out in the middle of nowhere and went down, I would assume that it might be at a level where you have to deal with like compression, like to get there, like where like maybe even have a submarine to get to it. So like at what point, like how deep do you have to go until you have to have a physical? Yeah, Google that. Bring that up, young Jamie. Yeah, how deep do you have to go?
Just so you know, 651 meters is 2,135.83 feet. So I don't even think you can go that deep.
So you would have to have a remote controlled submersible or something like that to retrieve this thing.
Yeah, I'm going to give you, just to give you a comparison, I'm looking up how deep the Titanic wreckage is in feet. It's going to be a lot more. It's 12,500 feet. So we're looking at almost 100% more feet, I guess, or 90%, whatever it is. Yeah, you can't go that deep as a human being. I don't think.
So you would have to basically have a remote controlled submersible to retrieve this thing.
What is the deepest a human can dive in the ocean? The deepest recorded dive is 1,090 feet, which is 1,000 feet short.
Yeah, still far short.
Thing is. Yeah. So anyway,
I think that's, like I said, that's pretty gangster. That's pretty cool. And I mean, I don't want to I don't want to speak anything negative into existence, but it's like in the event that something were to happen to Oda, I guess hopefully they mark that down because they might have to pull that back. He's been going at it for years and years and years.
Oh yeah, man. So it's it's a cool story, dude. And I feel like it's a basically a love note to his fans. And I think they'll appreciate and respect that no matter what. But I do think you're going to have some people try to use the pictures just to try to find the spot he is and try to find that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I mean, they would need a lot of sophisticated equipment, but yeah.
The hunt is on.
Yeah, the hunt is on. For the One Piece, you can
the One
literally
Piece.
say, I found in real life, I found the One Piece.
Now, the other thing is if you, let's say, because obviously it's got a lot of fans. Let's say you have you have the means. Let's say James Cameron is a fan of One Piece, right? Let's say this guy
I can see that.
If you had the means to find it, would you share it? I would not.
I also, by the way, would not.
I'm not even sure I would open it.
Well, I wonder.
I might open it just to
obviously-
verify that it's there and then not read it.
Oh, I would read it. I don't even think I would tell anybody else that I had it, much less tell them what it was.
Yeah, it would be like, that's like if I won the lottery, guess what?
Yeah.
You're still going to see me every Thursday at 7:00 Central. I'm still going to keep my job. I'm still going to drive my same car because I ain't telling nobody.
Oh, yeah. Because you'll have people out of the woodwork, man. The same with this. If you found the One Piece, plus I think whatever it is, and I'm just going to say this out loud. And I mean, I hope the One Piece fans understand that I did love that first season of the show. While I have not watched any of the anime, I feel like it's going to be something really, really simple.
Well,
I just can't see it being anything too complex.
Well, even if it's not complex, if it is simple, I think it will have a fantastic. Like, I think that this dude has proven himself to be a master storyteller. Yeah,
yeah.
So I think it will, whatever it is. I think he will work it in a way that it will be satisfactory. He's one person that I trust with ending his baby, his product.
Yeah, absolutely.
His creation.
Anyway, man, that is all I had on TV, and I didn't have hardly anything on movies other than to ask you if you'd seen the Peaky Blinders movie or any of the reviews on it, because I haven't seen it either, nor do I know if it's actually out for the casual fan yet.
I didn't know if it was out yet. I knew it was coming up. I actually need to rewatch Peaky Blinders. It's been a while. I need to kind of refamiliarize myself with Peaky Blinders. So I do not have anything there. However, soon to come, we are I believe it's the 16th is the launch date for Project Hail Mary. That is what I am looking forward to.
Yes, same here, man.
I've been recommending that book and movie to people for a while, even just recently as like a few days ago. I'm recommending that, and I said, it's bold to recommend the movie before I've even seen it, but I've read the book, and like I said, nothing that I have seen from the trailers and all that, it looks great. It looks like they've made great decisions. I don't see anything that gives me pause yet. And again, it's Ryan Gosling, and Ryan Gosling just picks good movies. And I think he's actually an executive producer in this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, man, that's all I got.
That's all I got too. It's been a scramble today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, for pitching in, playing along. And it was a fun show, fun topics, and definitely want to revisit the game mechanics we hate. That was a lot of fun. It was very cathartic. Yeah,
it was a lot of release.
I feel lighter. So I'll definitely edit that together. I'll try to make that the next video release and throw in the comments anything that you guys might think of later on. I would love to assemble all those together and rant and rave about the commenter mechanics that they hate.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Well, I guess until next week, we will see you on the internet.
I must leave you adieu.